Evening, Candy. Welcome to the special called City Council meeting for June 16, 2025. And my microphone is on. Sorry, Gordon. So a specially called City Council meeting for June 16th, 2025. Tonight's agenda is very brief. It's to consider interim city administrator candidates for the City of Canby. To bring everyone up to speed, last week, the decision was made by the council to end the contract with Eileen Stein. And with that, we have acting city administrator, Chief George Troe, here this evening, sitting in that position for the time being, but we have, we need to quickly determine what we want to do in terms of an interim. Chief Troe has graciously stepped into this position very much on a short-term basis because there's a lot going on at the PD, and that's where his attention needs to be moving forward. So with that, I think what we've got in front of us, or I will turn it to you, Emily, or do you want me to just continue steamrolling along? Okay, I'm get the steam rolling along. All right, so we have a couple of candidates that have been sent out to the city councilors, and I think everybody had a chance to look at those today. Herman and
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to say I have not had enough time to look over these candidates as this was just sent to me today.
No, for sure, that's understandable. They just went out today to everybody. We're just trying to, because we were just trying to finalize the list of the candidates that we had. We did get a number of candidates from the League of Oregon City. And then also Emily's firm had a couple of people as well. But it sounded like most of Barry Elsner's group was already committed elsewhere. And so looking at the list that was sent out today, and I'm sorry we're looking at discussing Randy Ely, Dan Chandler, and the third one was?
Dr. Annette Padilla.
Thank you. So those were the three candidates on the list that we had in terms of finalizing those. And so hopefully, I mean, Councilor Maldonado, were you able, do you have access to those to look at for the conversation? Or did you want to take a minute and?
Unfortunately, I do not currently.
Okay.
I'm in Salem at the moment. I have not been able to even get to my city email.
Okay. So, okay, no, that's understandable. Then we will dialogue as deeply as we need to this evening. The end result is to narrow it down from these three to one, and hopefully direct acting city manager Chief Troe and our attorney Emily to go forth and negotiate a contract with an interim to fill the role, and then in the future meetings, we will decide the process moving forward. So, so I'll open it up to the council for conversation or initial thoughts. Council President Hensley, welcome.
Mr. Mayor, as you are also aware, we do have another name that could be considered that isn't on the list. Mayor Kaiser and Malala had an idea which I deem very much worth merit, and I would like to be considered. City Administrator Dan Huff and Malala, as a part-time interim, he has a very well-run machine over there in Malala. And furthermore, the main reason I would like his name in consideration, and Scott agrees, they watch our meetings. He's very well versed in what Canby's doing. He already knows the projects that are before us. He kind of knows basically everything that's going on here. He could hit the ground running. And serve as a well-versed interim. He is not interested in a full-time position here. He is very happy in Molalla. So as we all discussed earlier, nobody here wants somebody as an interim who is interested in the full-time position. So I would like to discuss Dan Huff as well as the three names before us.
Councilor Maldonado?
I would have to side with that. That sounds like a pretty good idea, especially if it's on sort of a part-time basis. That would save us money. I feel like that would save us money, but only worry I would have is part-time enough time to do what we need within the city day to day? Are we able to operate on that scale?
Well, that's a valid question. I did just speak with Molalla City Administrator Dan Huff here shortly just before we began. He did not say that he's not interested. He did extend any and all help that Molalla can do or that he can do. Mollalla's got a great relationship with the police department and other departments here in the city of Canby. And so he wants to see that continue, and that's why he's willing to offer what help he can. He did mention that he just found out about it, tail end of last week, and would be willing to talk about it. I guess the situation then becomes a matter of, does it, going back and having that conversation, fit our timeline to quickly expedite this process to have Chief Tro return to being Chief Tro and not acting city administrator. So there would be details that would need to be worked out. And I don't know what that timeline would look like to work those out. So just wanted to give that
as you
side of it as
know,
well. Yes, Councilor Maldonado?
Sorry, I was going to say, I mean, it's no secret. I would rather hire somebody with them. Somebody who already knows what's going on, somebody who already knows all of our directors, somebody who already knows the ins and outs of our city. With that being said, I think this is a darn good option. So long as, like I said, a part-time basis is enough time throughout the day to help us out.
Well, that is a concern of mine. I considering the environment currently, I don't know if, again, the details that need to be worked out, how much time would he be able to spend here on the outset, and how long would it be able to maintain? It doesn't take much for, as we have seen, yes, things are going well in Molalla. It doesn't take much to, cause a flare up or something that then we gotta take advantage of and discuss if there needs to be a change in that regards as well. So are we back at this 3 months later if something happens? So, Councilor Stearns?
Two issues or three issues with this. One is I don't personally have much knowledge of him or any more than anybody else on this list personally, but we don't have any information or resumes or anything on that. That's one. Second thing, is he applying for this, or is he just saying he's willing to do it on a temporary basis? And three, from what I've seen so far, I have a hard time thinking that the job of city administrator here in Canby can be accomplished on a part-time basis for any lengthy period of time. And I think the normal recruitment process we have to allow for at least 4 to 6 months maybe before we get a permanent city administrator. And so that is kind of, without knowing anything bad or good about the Molalla mayor, I think that I would be hesitant to use him unless there's no other option, because I don't think this is a part-time position, and at least, I mean, I think you could juggle it for maybe 3 or 4 weeks or a month, but there's things that are ongoing in the city that probably need attention, that somebody that can focus on it, so.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Go ahead, Paul. I've already spoken, you haven't yet.
Okay, and so this person, again, I don't know him as well, they already are full-time position as city administrator for Molalla, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right. I feel more along the lines of Councilor Stearns. I don't think this would be a part-time position. There's a lot of things going on already that are extraordinary beyond just the normal everyday running of the city that's going to need a lot of attention. And I think also with the transition, we need somebody here full-time to continue the operations and help with the transition with the team, as we're going into another cycle of looking for a new permanent position. There's a committee that met to go through these, right? Who was it?
No, it was just,
It was just Brian and.
Okay.
So last week, you moved an open session to authorize Mayor Hodson to work with me to bring forth a list of candidates.
Okay,
This
so it
is
was
a
just
situation where time is of the
okay.
essence, so we needed to bring you things as quickly as we could procure them.
All right. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that.
I mean, it's council's decision. I mean, if this is something that you want to entertain, if that's the direction, then we've got to figure out a conversation with, our acting city administrator. And if that's not the case, then what's the next step after that? So, Council President Hensley and then Councilor Patton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm a little disappointed. I mean, I understand the time frame was very truncated, but we got the resumes hours ago. So I had a very limited amount of time to do any investigation into the 3 names presented to us. I am very familiar with the 4th name being presented. I trust him, and I trust his abilities, even if it is part-time. There's been many a time that Eileen was out of town and presented George as PIC, and from what I've heard, feedback-wise, kind of hands-off, because our leadership team is good. They can do their jobs. I think that I would prefer someone trusted in the region, in our county. I mean, it's kind of one of those, when all the boats are safe, then we all rise together. He's not interested in a full-time position here, but he's interested in helping us. We already have a relationship with Molalla in our behavioral health officer. He already knows what's going on. He can hit the ground running, knowing our position on projects, et cetera. I just feel like I'd rather go with a trusted source versus one of 3 names I've never heard of and have had hardly any time to vet. I'm not in a position to make a choice on 3 people I never even met before tonight.
Councilor Patton.
Yeah, so my thoughts. We got too much going on. A part-time person isn't gonna cut the mustard. This train has been moving at breakneck speed now for months, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done and ships that need to be righted, and a part-time person isn't going to do it. Also, I'm not at all interested in getting somebody who is specifically associated with or familiar with directors and stuff. I would much rather see someone from the outside coming in to get a better look at what's going on here, that has a more unbiased opinion of things, because I think we're going to be leaning on this person a bit as we go into our search for a full-time person. Also, I think that if this person, I know this was all very truncated. We were warned that this was going to be a quick turnaround. We've known about that since last Wednesday. And so, I mean, I don't know. I got a lot going on, and I managed to look through these resumes and do whatever vetting I needed to do, and came prepared with my ranking of the 3 individuals that we were sent. These 3 individuals have gone through our legal counsel, which is more vetting than what has been done with this other gentleman. I have no problem. I do not know Mr. Huff. I'm sure he's doing a fantastic job over there at Molalla, but we've got our own problems here in Canby, and we need somebody who's going to be able to put a full-time effort into this. So when we are ready to talk about the 3 candidates that were sent to us, I'm happy to do so.
Yes, Council President Hensley.
I also have information from the mayor of Molalla that they would make Dan available to us whatever time was needed, and he would handle Molalla remotely if possible. So I'm just saying, I would rather keep it to somebody who is familiar with us, what's going on, our projects, and is interested in helping us find and go through the process of recruiting somebody permanently. He would be a part of that process and help us find somebody. He has a lot of knowledge in the candidates and what would be good for a fit for us and for the county. I just feel like I feel more comfortable going with some familiarity.
Okay. Well, do we want to discuss the other 3? Okay, please, somebody throw a name out there, and or rank them, or however you guys want to talk about it.
So, based on what I was able to read, my ranking would be Dan Chandler, then Randy Ely, I think, or Ely, and then with Annette Padilla being the least, but nothing wrong against her or anything. And the reasons that I think that Dan struck me out good is because he said he had experience with cleaning up messes, which I think he's maybe paying somewhat attention to what's going on, if he was going to say that. Also, he's got legal background. He's been a city manager recently. So those things are in his favor. I also like the fact that Randy Ely has currently, I believe, working with PGE, and we have a little bit of trouble right there with them. So I think he would be advantageous for that reason. Yeah, but like I say, I don't know these people personally, and anybody would would have to, but I do like the idea of having somebody outside come in. I think the issues with too close personal relationships can get in the way, especially with stuff that we've already know is going on, as we've discussed some in the executive session. I think there's going to be some focus that needs to be happening on the city. But that's my particular ranking, but I'm not have a super strong opinion against any of these people, and that's just what strikes me out as what I liked. But it'd be nice, I don't know if we have time, it'd be nice to ask questions or an interview, but I don't know if we have the luxury of doing that, or we're just going through this and picking names.
I'll cut in there for a second. So Randy and Annette are both available if we want to give them a call tonight. Dan is camping in Canada right now, so good for him, but not available to talk to tonight.
Okay.
And I'll just say really fast that, council's motion and direction on the record last meeting was to bring you candidates on an expedited timeline, which we have done. So the past 2 days after council's motion were spent calling and emailing people, gathering availability, gathering resumes to bring to council today. There's nothing that says you have to choose today, but my understanding was that we wanted to move quickly, which I thought was very wise. You know, Chief Tro has very graciously given us a short amount of time. I imagine he might have some good thoughts about whether this could be a part-time position or not, but he's got a job he's got to get back to. And so these candidates are what are available right now, and personally, I think they're rather strong.
One question I have with Dr. Annette Padilla is, it appears that, unless I'm reading this resume wrong, that she must have just got hired as a city administrator. I mean, if I'm reading that right, 525 to 625, so she's been on the job just for maybe a month or a month and a half, unless I'm misreading that resume, which makes it kind of curious, somebody who'd want to, I mean,
Well, she also wants us to pay for her to move.
yeah,
So
and
no, she's
that as
bottom
well.
of my list.
Yeah, so those are my concerns with her, not knowing her, not knowing anything particular about it, but that looks a little bit weird. I mean, without saying anything more, that why would somebody be 1 month on the job and wanting to leave right after 1 month on the job? So that's my, I guess that's the kind of the red flag that I see with her resume. But like I say, that's what I sort of noticed that was weird.
So she's a no for you.
That's why I'm thinking that after three choices, that's puts her on the bottom.
Same, okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll just jump in to clarify. I got an email from Mr. Chandler. Hi, Dan, must be watching. He is available to talk tonight if council wants to give him a call as well. So that's 3 for 3 available to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Take advantage of it.
Counselor Waterman and then Counselor Davis.
Oh, I'm sorry, if he had his hand up already, I didn't notice it, so let me go with him.
Counselor Waterman and Counselor
Okay.
Davis.
All right. I am honestly on the same page with Counselor Stearns. I think the recent and previous history with Mr. Chandler would be beneficial for the city of Canby in helping us in the transition. Same questions about the Dr. Annette Padilla. And for a temporary position, I'm not sure we're in a place to be paying for putting in that type of infrastructure to try to get a temporary person here. And then Mr. Ely as well. So if we were to look at those three, that's the ranking I would do at this time.
So yours were Mr. Chandler, Mr. Ely, and then Ms. Padilla.
Correct.
Counselor Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to ask Chief Tro, or our acting city administrator, if he's got some thoughts.
Thank you, Councilor Davis. Yeah, I have a little bit. I know Dan Huff, he has a great reputation. I've worked with him, and I know the chief thinks of him very highly over there. My one concern is how much time he can give us, because I do believe just getting up to speed on things that are going on and things that are happening right now in the city of Canby, I think we need somebody that is full-time, and if he can't give that, I think it'll be difficult for him to do that.
Okay, and Chief Tro, have you had a chance to look at those resumes?
I have briefly looked at it.
And do you have any recommendations?
I'd say the two names that came to mind for me was Dan Chandler and Randley Ely were the top two for me.
In which order?
In no particular order.
Can I ask you for an order?
Let me look at them real quick again.
Okay, I would like to hear Jason's thoughts on this.
Yeah, so the way I had ranked them was I had put Mr. Ely at the top, followed by Mr. Chandler, and then Miss Padilla, right? Padilla? Yes. One of the reasons why I ranked Randy first, or Mr. Ely first, was, again, his connection with PGE, considering what has come out of a recent meeting. I have a feeling that I had a conversation with Melody Thompson, the chair of the Canby Utility Board, the other day to get some more information about this. And I think that it's going to take some interesting shepherding through the system of this. And this has the potential to look like we have egg on our face when we don't. I mean, it's clear that the city and Canby Utility and everybody involved has dotted their I's and crossed their T's, but this could grow legs and go in a crazy direction. And I would prefer, so his work with PGE, I think might be good. Also, for the time that he was the city administrator in Beaverton, they were going through a lot of development and a lot of growth. And we are in the process of, we are in the home stretch of finalizing our comprehensive plan and moving forward with our urban growth boundary expansion. So that's one of the other reasons why that sort of popped into, he rose to the top for that. And also Estacada and Wheeler are both smaller cities, Estacada especially in Clackamas County. And then I'm not super familiar with Wheeler, but I know it's not a bustling metropolis. And so, he has had some work with smaller cities. As far as Mr. Chandler goes, I like that he has quite a bit of longevity at the jobs that he has had. I also think that his experience as county manager for Clackamas County he was involved over there for almost 11 years. We've got a lot of stuff that bumps up against the county, and I think that would be, if he has those connections, I think they could be leveraged for a lot of the stuff that we're using. The talk about, he is a very no-nonsense person. You could tell from his resume and his email that he does not dink us around. And after everything that's been happening, I am a fan of no dinkasing. And then the time that he came into Bandon when there was some stuff going on. And I think, we got some stuff going on. And so for me, that's why I ranked. For Dr. Padilla, she had a very lengthy resume, lots of time spent in the public sector. I did raise an eyebrow over the 1 month in Gold Beach. And then the request to cover moving costs and all that stuff did strike me as odd. I would say that it doesn't strike me odd that if she was to get the position that she would expect those things, because that makes sense. But as far as, for 6 months, 6 to 8 months that this person might be in this position, depending on what we do. Because I will say this, I'm anxious to get somebody who has a little bit of sticking power, because I am not going to settle for whatever. If we go into the hiring process through whoever we choose as a firm, and I am not comfortable with any of the candidates, I will have no problem saying, no, we need to cast the net back out, and we need to start this process all over again. I am not interested in wasting any more of the taxpayers' money on city administrators who are going to be here for a year and a half. So for me, I was number 1 for Mr. Ely, number 2 for Mr. Chandler, and number 3 for Ms. Padilla.
You're not considering Dan Huff at all?
And you can laugh all you want.
Didn't laugh.
Counselor Davis, did you have something else?
Yeah, Mayor, is it possible, if we've got those people willing to come online, that we just have them do a very quick introduction of themselves?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, if that suits the council.
Have you ranked your preferences yet, Jim?
No, I have not, because I wanted to meet these people. I haven't even seen them yet.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, well, shall we start with Ms. Padilla? Or Dr.
Sure.
Padilla?
The way I suggest doing this, I can give Ms. Padilla a call real fast, see if she's available to talk. Ideally, we can get her to hop on the Zoom. If not, we can string up away on the phone. If
That would be
sounds good.
great.
Okay.
feel like that's a waste of time, but, okay.
Well, I'm sure they're all watching.
I think you were going to take a TV timeout.
Break for commercial.
Yeah.
Need the person in the little red vest with a sign doing the countdown.
Hi, Dr. Kia, this is Emma with the City of Canby. How are you?
It's like when you're at a college football game, like the guys run onto the field with the countdown for the commercial timeout.
Oftentimes I'm like, oh, here he comes again. Now another timeout.
It's so funny. I think like the last 3 minutes of a basketball game are as long as the whole game because of all the timeouts.
They gotta squeeze all their commercials in.
Yeah. Hey, that's big revenue. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Mayor, while we're waiting, has Chief Churl had a chance to make his recommendation?
Well, I would like to hold off if they're going to come and if they're going to speak, and I'd like to listen to what they say.
Okay, thank you.
Did you need to see the resumes? I did. You did, okay.
Would you like me to invite them right away?
Yes, please.
Do we ask questions or have the mayor ask questions, or
If you have questions, we will round robin them as best we can.
if we've all got the list of questions we're not supposed to ask? So
You are a seasoned business professional and business owner. You know what questions not to ask.
Gordon,
Race,
saying
ethnicity,
phone will
kids,
be difficult to
transportation.
hear, just to let you know for,
Yeah, I'm figuring it out.
okay.
Does Jim have another question?
No, he's just
Oh,
in,
his hand's up.
he's just in an ongoing question.
He's currently taking his hand down. Okay.
questioning.
Yeah.
So Dr. Padilla has the link, she's hopping on, and I'm teeing up the other two right now.
Great.
And Dan is watching, he's letting me know if he might be able to have bandwidth for.
Shoo-dee-doo. Sun-dun-dun-dun.
So then the question would be, was it camping for fishing or hunting?
It's a great question.
Or just hiking in general? Some whitewater rafting.
Ask about hobbies. Is that one of the unforbidden questions, is hobbies?
That's the only job we're getting information. That's what it says on.
Dr. Padilla, we see you're online. Are you able to hear us?
She is muted.
And you are, it shows you as muted if you're trying to answer.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Hello, Dr. Padilla. Thank you for joining us this evening. Yeah, so we appreciate you being here this evening and jumping on. It sounds like council would like to ask the candidates here a couple of questions. And so, council, if you would be sure to identify yourself and we can ask questions. Councilor Davis, did you want to start us off?
If we could just have a quick 2-3 minute introduction of the candidate.
Great.
Introduce yourself and, yeah.
Dr. Padilla, the floor is yours.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me to your meeting this evening. I'm Dr. Annette Padilla, and I work with municipalities in transition like yourselves. I've also worked with small towns and organizations and counties to strengthen operations and work with council to achieve community goals. I understand that the city's in a transition. I've watched 5 of the meetings and looked at your budget process as well. So I'm new to Oregon, and I'm in Gold Beach right now. I was working with the council here for about a month to strengthen their budget process and work with the department heads, and they chose to go into a different direction. And so I'm looking for a new position right now, and I'm a member of the Oregon City County Management Association and have colleagues in the region of where you're located. So I'm interested to help you during your transition to really strengthen operations and work in partnership with council to support the departments and look at the issues there. I know you're in several fiscal situations. There's issues with departments and the operations, and I feel like I can really be a service and strengthen the day-to-day operations and help execute council's vision and help achieve goals. For example, I've worked on comprehensive plans, I've worked with utilities, and worked to strengthen budgets for municipalities. I've worked with about 10 municipalities and about 50 counties in California.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilor Davis, did you have anything?
Nope.
Okay. Any questions for Dr. Padilla? Yes, Councilor Patton.
I'll just, I guess, just for clarification, hello, my name is Jason Patton, one of the members of council. Thanks for joining us tonight. It sounded like you, with your stint there in Gold Beach, I just want to make sure I understood it correctly. Originally, it was sort of like a city administrator position, but they've gone in a different direction. Is that correct?
Yes, it was really a city administrator position and a city clerk position and a director of finance position. And so I was able to help them strengthen some of the department operations and work on the budget, but they chose to go back to their current planner and have him carry the torch forward with the city administration. So I'm looking for a new role now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Padilla, any questions for us?
Well, I appreciate everybody's time. Can you just share with me your top 3 issues? It seems like there's some with operations and the budget. How would you rank your top 3 issues with the city that you're facing?
Somebody want to tackle that one? I mean, I'd throw out there, probably the biggest thing for sure is, culture here at within the city, specifically City Hall and the different departments. Then yes, I think you hit it on the head in terms of, financials. We just are about to approve next year's budget, which required almost $600,000 in cuts for us as a city. And then the other aspect is our comprehensive plan and urban growth boundary expansion. Those are the 3 things that I see as really big pieces that the city manager coming in either on an interim basis, and then eventually when we hire someone, we'll have to jump in and start getting their arms wrapped around.
Okay, thank you for the breaking. I also understand there's some concern about me asking for reimbursement for a move. I am willing to negotiate that as well.
Okay, great. Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, I guess just considering you asked, for me, the top 3 things in my book, and they're not necessarily any particular order, is planning for the future. We have a lot going on that is working to plan for the future livability of the city. And if we don't get this right, it is going to have long-term consequences for not just us, but for those that call Canby home in the future. The budget situation, I look at a little differently in that I think our department directors and those at the city that spend the city's money do a very good job of that. It's just we don't have enough money coming in to do all of the things that we need to do. The citizens demand a certain level of services, and unfortunately, we do not have enough funding to do that. And so identifying alternate funding sources, how we are going to parse that out, I think is going to be huge for our city in the next couple of years. You know, huge, you know, building a new water treatment plant, updates to our infrastructure. It's all, we are on the precipice of this all needing to be done now. And then also staff, you know, things going on amongst our staff. Staff unrest, staff mistrust, those sort of things are top of mind for me.
Okay, thank you. I feel like I could be of service in each of those areas. My expertise is strategic planning. I've worked a lot in HR and on these different projects as well. So thank you.
So Dr. Padilla, when the time came and we started to begin the recruiting process, would this be a position that you would want to seek on a full-time basis?
I would be open to that, yes.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
if council wanted to go in that direction, I'd be open to that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, any other questions for Dr. Padilla?
No.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Padilla. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll move into is it Ely?
Yeah, I'm curious if you can hear me.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I just returned from my nephew's graduation in Eugene, so I'm just getting settled in here back at home in Woodburn.
So a duck, huh?
He is a duck, my nephew, although I'm a bearcat from Willamette and Salem, so, but I am a duck fan with my nephew, yep.
Well, you've got some interesting company here, that's for sure. So, Mr. Ely, can you give us just a brief introduction about you and your history and what you think you can bring to help us out here over the next couple of months?
Sure. First of all, thank you for inviting me to participate. It's an honor. Canby is a beautiful city and tons of respect for what you're all doing there. I've watched it from the very beginning when you did the urban renewal work and had the theater, I believe, and this is going back to when I was in Estacada. So just always watched from afar and been very impressed. I started my career in Wheeler, Oregon. First, let me say that I'm not interested in a full-time position with Canby, and that's no disrespect. It's just where I'm at in my life. I just retired from Portland General Electric. I have nearly 30 years of public sector experience under my belt, so I'm retiring from PERS. So I'm just looking to do interim work. Frankly, I have a lot of respect for League of Oregon Cities and have worked for Wheeler, Oregon. That was my first job, population 500. And then I went to Estacada for 10 years, worked on their urban growth and expansion areas, their industrial park on Highway 224, bringing in jobs and helping the local economy with local workforce. Built their library, which was all community-based aspirational work and privately funded locally and through grants through foundations. Started an urban renewal district there where they retrofitted their downtown Broadway street. Had the opportunity to move on to Beaverton for the next 10 years and help them with their public safety facility, which is I think the chief might have been there possibly. I don't know for sure, but it's a beautiful facility that was done through a local bond. and also the private fundraising for the Patricia Research Center for the Arts project. Very good relationships with our police chiefs in Beaverton, two of them during my tenure, and their command staff. Also worked very closely with our union, SEIA. Very good relations with union leadership. Obviously built an entirely new department head staff in Beaverton from the ground up. I served as interim director for Public Works and Community Development Department, getting the right leadership put in place in both of those departments while I was there. And then lastly, just to kind of wrap up, I feel very proud of the work I did with Portland General Electric and our relationship with Canby. We had a lot of annexation work where we ceded territory to Canby Utility very amicably. So I believe that given my relationship with Portland General leadership, I know Mayor, you and the CEO have spent time together, that we can carefully walk through any headwind or stresses that are currently ongoing with Canby and PGE.
Great, thank you, Mr. Ely. What, so when was the last time you were in an interim role?
I believe 2015 and 2017, or 16, sorry, 2015, 2016. Before I came to PGE, I helped as an interim director for community development and public works. And in Beaverton, we did the South Cooper Mountain expansion area through Metro, which is now has a new high school, library, commercial area. So very good build out of that entire area there on Roy Rogers, adjacent to River Terrace and Tigard. So, and that was a delicate cross-jurisdictional effort that ended successfully for the city of Beaverton.
Okay, great. As Dr. Padilla mentioned, in terms of preparation for kind of maybe stepping in as the interim, what kinds of things have you done to prepare yourself to take on this role as the interim?
Well, I think that, as I stated 2 weeks ago, I just retired, so I was able to take some vacation and get some downtime, start thinking about what I want to do in the next chapter. I did get a call from a couple other smaller cities that I would entertain a conversation with, one being, you mentioned earlier, Gold Beach, but Canby's right in my backyard, and so I'm in a headspace of full-time in the office, working with the leadership team, obviously working with city council, just talking about where the pain might be and anything I can do to help sort of facilitate moving forward. I'm sure you have a number of pressing issues on your plate right now that deserve full-time attention, and I am more than willing to be first in and last out. That's sort of my leadership style and the way I've approached city management in the past. So I'm happy to give myself full-time and dedication to the city of Canby, helping you get through this period and helping you recruit, frankly, just a transformative city manager for your community that's going to be there for a while, so you don't have to go through the fits and starts of bringing somebody in every year or two. I know how painful that can be.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Ely. Councilors, any questions?
I just wanted to reiterate, how long ago was it that you were actually a city manager?
I left Beaverton in 2018.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Okay. And I know Mayor Kaiser, I know Dan Huff very well. They're friends and colleagues, so I appreciate the discussion that you're entertaining right now, for sure.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Ely. Mr. Chandler, good evening. How are you, sir?
I just unmuted myself. I'm good. I hope you can hear me.
We can indeed. Thank you for. Thanks for joining.
It's amazing. You bet. And thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm actually in the middle of Canada's Glacier Park, and it's just incredible to me that I have connectivity. But I'm not going to waste any more of your time talking about that. I appreciate the discussion I heard. and I thought I would just hit a few high points and give you a brief introduction to myself. So my resume, I practiced land use law and local government law for a long time. Joined Clackamas County in 2008 in the county counsel's office, and then a few years later moved over to the county administration side of the building, where I worked eventually with the title of assistant county administrator, and I was there until 2019, late 2019. In early 2020, I joined the city of Bandon as city manager, and I noted in my email tonight, I'll just give you the story of walking into Bandon. I came into Bandon, and between the time I had accepted the position and the position started, the public works director and director of city utilities had both been arrested for stealing from the city. The city had lost a lawsuit that required it to give back a bunch of money to its ratepayers. Bandon, like Canby, is one of the few municipalities in the state that runs an electrical utility. Anyway, so staff were divided. The mayor and council were divided about whether it was fair to some of these people to have been let go. It was really a difficult, situation to walk into. I'm proud to say we walked into it. We dealt with the budget issues within a few months. Did both a supplemental budget and then had to walk right into the next year's city budget. COVID hit right 3 weeks after I joined the city. I was there just short of 4 years and I retired. Proud to say we passed 5 different funding measures with the voters in the time that I was there, and I think it was just about keeping our word. And I said when I came there, I said my 3 priorities. I'm a little rusty this interview thing since I retired, I suppose. My 3 priorities were efficiency, transparency, and accountability, and we lived that. The people of the city came to trust their staff and trust the city, and they voted to tax themselves or increase their own utility rates. And that was just sort of my fundamental approach. But I'm very familiar with difficult staff situations and difficult transitions. Many of them while I was at the county, you're probably all aware that Clackamas County has, had a number of political changes since 2007 when I was there. We worked through all of those. I want to highlight the urban growth boundary. I represented as attorney the city of North Plains when it did its urban growth boundary amendment, and I'm proud to have a little poster on my wall thanking me and some others for our work in that. But we made new law in Oregon around the UGB process. I'm still very familiar with how it works, the politics, dealing with the state agencies, how it has to work with the county. Canby's lucky to be out of Metro, so it can do its own UGB. And actually, way back when Clackamas County was doing its urban and rural reserves, I was involved in a lot of discussions about Canby and how and where Canby might want to grow in the future. I think Mayor Hodson was around and involved in a lot of those discussions as well. In terms of a permanent position, I'm retired. I like being retired. I'm a little bored. I like challenges. I would love to come to Canby. I still have a house in the Portland area, but I have an RV and I can be up there fairly quickly. Again, no interest in the full-time position, but I can be there as long as it takes to help the city with the recruitment for a new city manager. And I may be repeating myself. Again, this was a quick shift in priorities for me from going to a 90th birthday party and then traveling through the wilds of Canada. But Bandon also ran an electric utility. Again, I've said that before, one of the few in the state that did that. So I'm very familiar with the challenges of that process. I do not know your specific issues with PGE, but hopefully my experience can help. I don't need moving expenses, and I'll just be up there when you need me.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chandler. Any questions for Mr. Chandler from any of the council? Okay. Well, I appreciate the 3 of you being available this evening and jumping on real quick to give us, some voiceover and answer some of our questions. I think we'll probably take you out of the Zoom link here, at least, and move you over into, I think it's participant, and we'll continue our discussion. And hopefully, we look forward to working with one of you here in the very near future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Counselor Davis, your hand is up, sir. You are muted, sir.
There we go. Okay, so back to Chief Troe, your thoughts now.
Putting me on the spot. Just based on the resumes and what I heard here today, I would still think Randy and Dan, or Eli and Chandler, are the top two. Again, based on what I heard, I would give a slight edge to Randy. Eli, just because I think he has some good experience in Beaverton. He held several positions there, which I like. I think that will be helpful here. And then he also managed a couple smaller cities in Estacada and Wheeler. So I think he brings a good round wealth of experience.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
And Mayor, your thoughts?
My thoughts are also with Mr. Ely and Mr. Chandler.
And your top one?
My top one is Mr. Ely.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to thank all three of them, and I'd like to thank the mayor and Emily for spending the time to get this organized. Mr. Chandler and Mr. Ely, I mean, they are so close together. I mean, either one of them, and I would also say that I would encourage the third person to go ahead and apply for the permanent position as well, but I would have to go with Mr. Ely.
I'm sorry, Chief, can you, Councilor Davis, not Chief Davis.
Not Chief
Councilor
anymore.
Davis, what, can you state your thoughts there on the rankings again?
Yes, I would go with Mr. Ely.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Councilor Patton.
Come on, button, work with me. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I just want, again, thank you all very much for tuning in on such short notice. That is awesome. You know, I made it pretty clear that I was hoping to, I would be leaning towards someone who is not interested in applying for the full-time position. So obviously that plays into Mr. Chandler and Mr. Ely's court. Dr. Padilla, I totally encourage you to apply for the full-time position when it comes open, because it will be coming open, and go through that process. So I encourage you there. Again, my original ranking for 1 and 2 was Mr. Ely and Mr. Chandler. And I too agree. I think that both of them would do a fantastic job. I do feel that Mr. Chandler would be able to get in here and start to get the train back on the tracks. Unfortunately, Mr. Ely edges him out a bit with his work with PG&E and his past city administrator experience. Plus, yeah, like I said, the PG&E thing is what really caught my eye.
Okay. Yeah, Councilor Stearns, you have a thought?
Oh, I like I said earlier, I think that Chandler, and Ely are both just about, I could be happy with either one of them. So I'll leave the choice between those two up to the rest of the council, because I don't have a strong opinion on either. I mean, I think they're both seem to be qualified for what we need.
Okay.
Out of the two, I think Mr. Ely has a slight edge. I think my rank would be Mr. Ely, Mr. Chandler, and appreciate everybody for coming and sharing your history and what you can bring to Canby. And also, Ms. Padilla, if you definitely, I think we are looking for somebody who's not interested in full-time right now, help us with the transition, but there will be a position open for full-time. I would rank with Mr. Ely and then Mr. Chandler. Thank you.
I'm sorry, you, Mr. Ely is your first choice?
First choice, yeah. Sorry, also, we're talking, Mr. Ely also is in our backyard as well, and he's right down the street, and I think that does also help as well.
Okay. Any other thoughts that want to be shared? Well, if that's the case, then, I mean,
Are we not going to ask Herman and I for our?
I've asked if there's any other comments.
Okay, well, my first choice is still Dan Huff, and I will reluctantly go with the second choice of Chandler. I believe that perhaps, while his resume might be good, I think given the stuff going on out in the industrial park right now with PGE, I don't know that, I feel like there might be a conflict there with Mr. Ely. His allegiance to PGE might not be in alliance with what's good for Canby, so my number one is Dan Huff, my number two is Dan Chandler.
Okay.
You need to unmute, Herman.
I apologize about that. I also want to thank all three of them for taking the time out of their evening to be here with us tonight. Mayor, Emily, thank you both for rushing this to us as best as you did. I will say, the few hours that I had, I still was not able to even access my email. Mm-hmm. I'm basing what I'm hearing from all three of them tonight, and I can go either way with Ely or Chandler.
Yeah, I only got two of the three resumes myself on email too.
All three went out.
I only got two of them, I'm just saying.
Yeah, the
They
resume,
can go.
I got a little screwed up in there. If you looked at the first email that went out, you had to scroll down through the attachments. Two of the resumes were PDFs and one was a Word document, and that threw me for a loop.
Neither here nor there with me. I wasn't able to access my email at all. So I'm basing my decision on what I've heard from the three of them tonight. And I would say for me, it's a tie between Ely and Chandler. I believe Ely might have a very slight advantage, but.
So Ely is your first, Chandler is your second.
There's a tie, he said.
I honestly, it's so slight, it's a tie. I wouldn't be able to give a definite decision just based on this.
Okay. Counselor Davis?
Give that mute button the what for, Jim?
You're muted.
It's tough to get it off mute on the phone.
Okay, Jason, be nice. Mayor, are you looking for a motion at this point, or are you just tallying the votes?
Well, right now I'm tallying it in the way that I have it based on breakdown. So is that Randy Ely ranked higher amongst the council than Mr. Chandler?
Okay, so I would agree with that. Do you need a motion, or are you just going to run with that then?
Nope, I need a motion to direct our acting city administrator and our city attorney to go into negotiations with Randy Ely for the interim city manager role.
I'll make that motion.
Okay?
Second.
Okay, motion is made by Councilor Davis and seconded by Councilor Patton to have staff that includes acting city administrator George Tro and our city attorney Emily Gamont to go into negotiations with Randy Ely for the interim city manager position. Any other discussion? Counselor Stearns, Counselor Patton.
Well, I'm just wondering if it might be, since we are pretty much agreed that if Ely is not available or some reason it wouldn't work out, that I don't think we need another meeting to be the second place be Chandler. So
That is
I
correct.
wonder if that should be included in the motion, or do we would have to reconvene if it didn't work out with him?
Well,
Yes,
if he's available, he would have
Madam
been here
Attorney?
tonight, right?
You could certainly include that in the motion, and that would help timelines if you're looking to get this done before your next council meeting.
Okay, Counselor Davis, do you okay with that amended piece?
I'm okay with that amended piece.
Counselor Patton?
No, I just wanted to let Jim know, I was not flipping you crap about that tiny button. As someone who does the Zoom calls from their phone a lot, it is super tiny, and it is a hot mess sometimes, so I appreciate your struggle.
No, I need you to, are you
Oh,
still?
yes, I second that motion.
So the amended motion is for acting city administrator Chief Tro and Emily, our attorney Emily Gamont to go into negotiations with Randy Ely to fill the role of the interim city administrator with,
Stand up for a reason?
No, there isn't.
No, okay.
with Dan Chandler to be the alternate if need be. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Nay.
Counselor Maldonado?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 5-1. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you to the three applicants. We really do appreciate it. Yeah, it means a lot that you had that much interest in the city of Canby, so thank you. I have no other business. Counselor Patton?
May I move to adjourn the meeting?
No, you may not
Oh, I
yet.
can't? Okay,
No.
then I will not move to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. Emily, is there anything else that we need to cover off this evening regarding this?
Thank you, Mary. Nothing for this evening.
Okay, great. Now you can, Counselor Patton.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
So 4-2 on adjourning. All right, we are adjourned. Good night, Canby. Thank you very